Welcome to the Inn of Whispers, my friend. My name is Gabriel. Join me as I share a story I heard on my travels. This story is called
The School After Dark. I know how this sounds, and if you think I am making it up, I get it. But if you are willing to listen, I need to know what you think we stumbled upon the other night. My whole world is basically my two best friends, Mason and Emily. We've been inseparable since the 6th grade. Our hometown is in the middle of nowhere, a place of farms and drive-through coffee shacks. The biggest thing for miles is our old K-12 school, a massive building that sits empty and silent all summer. It was a little after 10:15 p.m. We were sitting in Mason's car in a mostly empty gas station parking lot, just finishing up some snacks. All three of us are goth, drawn to the strange and the macabre. My room is full of taxidermy and bones. Mason can watch the goriest horror movie without a flinch. Emily has a spine of absolute steel. It takes a lot to get under our skin. Mason suggested we drive the back roads past the deserted homes and cemeteries. Emily and I happily agreed. We spent about half an hour pointing out the beautiful, neglected Victorian houses. We were heading back to Emily's apartment for a sleepover when she pointed through the windshield.
Let's stop at the school for old time's sake.
Mason pulled into the vast, empty parking lot. The building was a gigantic, dark shape against the night sky. We got out, and the sound of our platform boots echoed in the silence. We walked toward the high school section, trading stories about how much we'd hated the place. The familiarity felt like a comfort. Emily and I drifted towards the large cafeteria windows. We crouched down to peer inside. The room was a landscape of shadows. It was lit only by the tiny, ghostly lights from appliances and a few dim ceiling lights. Stacked chairs and tables were stored neatly in one corner. Then my eyes found it. Among the posters on the walls, something shifted. An intense, dark crimson fabric resolved out of the gloom. The cloth was a long, hooded cloak, draped over a human figure. It stood perfectly still in the center of the room. Its arms stuck straight out at its sides. Its head was aimed so severely at the floor that the hood created a perfect black void. I was scared shitless. My stomach churned with a heavy dread. I instantly regretted wearing a tight corset. I shook Emily's shoulder and whispered for her to look. She was confused. Then she went silent.
What the hell is that?
That is when it happened. Without a sound, without a flicker of movement, the figure was just there. It was now right behind the glass. Its head was still tilted down, pressed against the pane. I still could not see its face. Emily's scream was like nothing I'd ever heard. A sound of pure, undiluted fear. She grabbed my arm so tightly. I felt her fingertips pinching my veins. She began dragging me away. I scrambled to get upright, my own scream tearing loose. I tripped over my long black dress and clunky platform boots. That is when we heard Mason's voice. He was yelling for us in a panic we'd never heard from him before. His footsteps pounded as he ran from the classrooms just down the wing. We didn't wait. We fell into the car, Emily already in tears. Mason peeled out of the parking lot so fast the tires squealed on the pavement. We sped down the empty main road. All of us were yelling the same thing over and over.
What the hell? What the hell was that?
When he could finally catch his breath, Mason told us what he'd seen.
I turned on my phone's flashlight. I angled it into our old homeroom. I saw 3 people, lined up facing the wall, all wearing those same long hooded red cloaks.
I felt sick, honestly worried I was going to throw up. I said we had to call the police. My friends pointed out the obvious. We are the only goth kids in a town full of people who live by God, guns, and country. They'd never believe us. Who is to say they wouldn't blame us? We still went to Emily's apartment, but none of us slept. We spent hours talking in circles. My only guess was a cult. But what were they doing in a school? I told my family. They thought I was being dramatic, trying to scare my younger siblings. They told me not to go back. I haven't, and I never will. We have to tell ourselves they were people. It is the only way to sleep at night. People in costumes, playing a twisted game. But people need faces. People make sound when they move. What we saw in the cafeteria, and what Mason saw in that classroom, they weren't breaking in. Maybe they were the reason the school always felt so hollow, even when it was full of students. Maybe we were never learning alone in those rooms. Maybe we were just never supposed to see the other permanent classmates, standing in the dark, waiting for the silence to return.
I hope you enjoyed this story, friend. Please share your thoughts below, and what would you have done? Like and subscribe for more stories at WhisperInn. And if you have a chilling story you'd like to share, contact the innkeeper to have it whispered. But until then, safe travels, my friend.